Hello, hello, beautiful people. Welcome to this awesome Tuesday. You are watching The Sideline Speaks with myself, Britne Jones, alongside Jason Collins and Kevin Walker, right here on Never Had It So Good Sports Media Network. What's going on, K Walk and Jay?
All is well. All is well. Looking forward to another great one, guys.
Yeah, everything's good. My childhood team is going to the Super Bowl. So what could be better? What could be better?
Hey, Jay, I can respect that because I think I told you. I said, look, I wasn't doing it throughout the year, but I'm gonna try to get you back. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna do my best, but we'll see. Hopefully you don't go back to them cowgirls again. I ain't tell you all season long, but that one was hurting me. I was passionate about that one. Can't have no cowboys up here no more. All right, guys. You guys ready to talk some sports?
Yeah, let's get into it.
Let's do it. So first, we was going to start off with the championship recap, but we're going to push that off because we had some big breaking news today. 49ers defensive coordinator D'Amico Ryans has been officially hired by the Houston Texans, I think on a 6-year deal. And the Broncos are expected to hire Sean Payton. They're still trying to figure out the compensation for the trade, make sure that goes through, but that seems like it will be a done deal very, very soon. What are your thoughts on both these I guess hirings? Here you go. What are your thoughts on both these hirings? Jay, I'm gonna come to you first.
Yeah, if you think about the D'Amico Ryans one, when I first heard it, I was like, man, I understand why. I mean, you get an opportunity to be head coach in the NFL, you can't really turn it down, right? There's only 32 of these jobs. But then I was like, but it's the Texans, and they really don't have a good track record of how they take care of their coaches, how they treat their coaches, things like that. So you don't want D'Amico Ryans walking into a situation where he doesn't really have a real chance to succeed. But Britt, when you just said it was a 6-year deal, that made me feel a lot better, right? Because either they're going to have to stick with him and give him some time to kind of build up that organization, or at least he's going to be getting paid if they decide to do him dirty. So I like the fact that it's a 6-year deal. So I feel good about that. And then Sean Payton, like in Denver, all along, I was thinking that he would be a great fit in Denver. I think he's going to be what Russell Wilson needs to kind of get back on track. We all know his ability to call plays and put an offense together. So I think that's going to be really positive in Denver if they're able to get that deal done. So I like them both. I think both teams did a good job getting the right guy.
Yeah, I think D'Amico Ryans, congratulations to him. I believe the Houston Texans drafted him, if I'm not mistaken. At least he played for them for a while. I know they had a little lawsuit thing situation going on, but clearly they figured that out. He got what he wanted, basically. I feel like this is kind of what he wanted as far as the 6-year deal. And I feel like there's a guarantee in there, meaning you can't just fire me after 1 year. If it's 6 years, you're going to guarantee me at least maybe 3 years or so of these 6 years. But 6 years is a lot for a first-time head coach. So he definitely got his way and he got paid. But I think he's going to be a good head coach. He was a great defensive coordinator for the 49ers.
Yeah.
Made me nervous the whole game, which we'll get into later. I know the 49ers did lose him, but I also heard the 49ers will be okay. They're looking at Vic Fangio, I believe, is one of their options. That's a big-time defensive coordinator as well. And as far as Sean Payton, I mean, what can I say? Hall of Famer coach. Look what he did when he was with the Saints. Wherever he goes, the team does well. I think this would be great, as what you said, Jay, for Russell. I almost said Westbrook, guys. I meant to say Russell Wilson. I think this would be great for Russell Wilson in that offense. And that offense should be able to match that defense, which will also be great. But K-Walk, what are your thoughts on both of these hirings?
Yeah, two great hirings. And yeah, Russell Wilson did play like Russell Westbrook last season. So no real big difference in play there. But yeah, I mean, to start with Sean Payton and the Denver Broncos, I think that's a perfect fit, guys. I think that's exactly what that organization needed. They got a great defense, man. They really do. I think they have a Super Bowl type caliber defense. It's that offense that just let them down, and it just there was a disconnect there with Nathaniel Hackett and Russell Westbrook in that offense. I think Sean Payton comes in there and immediately gains the respect of Russell Wilson. I think we heard that Russell Wilson has his own office there, and you know, in the facility. Maybe that'll be gone. Kind of bring him back down to earth, if you will. I think Sean Payton is going to command that, demand that that type of respect, and then let the team know right from the jump whose team this is, or whose team it is, I should say. And then yeah, I think that's a perfect fit for them. I know the Broncos were high on DeMeco Ryans. They really wanted him there. But you know, DeMeco turned it down. DeMeco said this is not the spot for me, so he declined the you know, accepting that position. So they went to Sean Payton. Now going to DeMeco Ryans in Houston, I think that's it's a perfect fit for him. It's where he wanted to go. Britt, you mentioned a 6-year deal. That means he's in it for the long haul. That means that Houston has to be in for the long haul, one way or the other. They're gonna keep him there. He's gonna give him time to develop that and to rebuild that organization. And there's a lot of rebuilding that needs to be done in that organization. So I think DeMeco is the guy. You know, he could have been a head coach last year, but he said, I want to wait one more year and see, you know, just get one more defensive coordinator season under my belt. And I think he probably waited for this position because this particular opening, because I think, you know, you mentioned Britt, that he did play for the Houston Texans. He was you know, he played with JJ Watt there as well. So hats off to him, man. He's going to be truly missed. He took over for Robert Saleh. When he took over for Robert Saleh, I immediately said this guy is going to be great replacement there. He did exactly what we wanted him to do, needed him to do. So hats off to you, brother. Nothing but the best wishes to you going forward. Well deserved, super well deserved for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited for DeMeco Ryans, and like you say, he declined Denver Broncos, so he wanted the opportunity to build from the ground up, and his roots are in Houston. So I'm excited for him. But guys, now we have to move on. We want to talk about what happened or our thoughts about these NFC and AFC championships. The first one we're going to start with is this AFC championship. A limping Patrick Mahomes in the Kansas City Chiefs were able to pull out a 23-20 victory over the Cincinnati Bengals after the Bengals was defensive tackle. One of them had an unnecessary foul penalty, which put the Chiefs kicker in field goal range. That still frustrates me, I'm gonna be honest with you. For the Chiefs to become the AFC champs. Watching this game, what were your thoughts? K-Walk, I'm gonna come to you first.
Yeah, watching the game, I just thought it was the type of game I expected, I should say. You know, being a back and forth game, not so much. It was more a defensive game than anything. And I thought that it was the one team that would make the. It didn't look good for Kansas City to be honest with you, because they were making some mistakes. Mahomes, you know, doing stuff that, you know, that he normally can do, but like you mentioned, Britt, he was limping, so it kind of took him out of his element, if you will. So coming down to the wire, I really thought that if it was going to be a close game, I thought Joe Burrow and that Cincinnati Bengal team was going to pull it out. That defense for the Bengals played exactly how I thought they would play. Surprisingly enough, though, the defense for the Chiefs played just as well, if not just a little bit better. But you mentioned the penalty at the end, crucial penalty. I don't understand why guys do that, man. You know he's going to go out of bounds. Just let him go. Just ride him out. You know, just keep a hand on him in case he decides to turn it up, because you know it is Patrick Mahomes, and you know he may, deke or dunk you, if you will, make it look like he's doing one thing and then turn it upfield. I get all of that, but you can't hit the guy out of bounds. Just ride him out of bounds. Just hold on to him and ride him out of bounds. Obviously, that was the big play there. That was the one that stood out the most. But just hats off to Joe Burrow, man. I thought he did a heck of a job. That offensive line was really not giving him a chance for the most part of that game. But Joe Burrow found a way, and they adjusted it as well, as far as, you know, sliding protection, things of that nature. So I really thought the Bengals was going to pull that one out. But that one penalty, and it's a shame that one play cost the game, but ultimately that's what it was.
Yeah, that was a big penalty at the end. I wish the ref didn't have to call it, but it was so blatantly
Yeah, you had
obvious.
to.
Obvious, like you had to call that, unfortunately. But like you said, you just gotta, like you said, Kmart. He was supposed to play smarter than that. You don't want to ride on them, because as you can see during at the end, he was very emotional. But good thing, his teammates had his back. But I think it was a couple of other times where the Bengals really could have taken this lead. It was a tie ball game because they had the football prior to that. I think with less than 2 minutes, if I can recall, and didn't get anything done. I don't know. Was it an interception at that moment? Can't remember if he threw the pick then or not. But all I know is they weren't. No, it wasn't. They did punt it because Sky Moore ran to like the 50-yard line.
Yeah, the big
Yep.
return.
Ran to about the 50-yard line. So that's a big special teams mishap. But like you said, well, this was a huge defensive matchup. It was like both offenses they were moving, but they really couldn't get points up on the board. As we've seen, Patrick Mahomes look hurt, but he was fighting through everything. Joe Burrow's line wasn't doing much of anything. They really need to go into this offseason to really invest in some quality offensive linemen. You have your receivers, you have everything else. You just need to protect your quarterback. But Jay, what were your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I think K. Walk alluded to it. I thought a big part of the game was that Kansas City defense. You saw the confidence that a lot of Cincinnati players had after beating Buffalo and advancing to the championship game and calling it Burrowhead Stadium and all this stuff. And guys take that kind of stuff personal. So I really think Kansas City's defense came into this game with a little bit of a chip on their shoulder. And you kind of saw that right out of the gate. Now, look, sometimes that emotion doesn't sustain you for 4 quarters, but you could tell they came out of the gate and they felt like they had something to prove. And obviously only holding them to only 20 points, I thought that was huge. Look, and we know Mahomes was kind of playing on one leg, but I still felt like a lot of this game was the greatness of Patrick Mahomes. He wasn't his normal self, but some of those plays that he made, the touchdown pass to Kelsey and a few other plays throughout that game, I thought they were absolutely tremendous, the way he was able to do that without his normal mobility. So Kansas City's defense played better than expected. And Mahomes, given how I thought he would be on that injury, he played better than I thought he would as well. So, just an all-around great job by Kansas City. And you're right, Britt. I mean, we know Joe Burrow is a really, really good quarterback, but until they can get some guys in front of him that can consistently protect him, I mean, it's like he's running for his life every other week. So they definitely need to get that fixed.
Yeah, of course. We've seen this time and time again. Tom Brady is not Tom Brady without the offensive line. I know they say the most important position in the league is the quarterback, but in my mind, I think your offensive line is some of the most important positions in the league, because if not, your quarterback can't do much if he's not protected or feel safe. Seen Tom Brady this year when the Bucs had nobody. I could go on and on with a bunch of other teams who did not have a good offensive line. Yeah. So we got to shore up that offensive line. Once they do that, the Bengals are a different team. And I will say this, Eli Apple, I gave you a compliment last week, but you ended up being the same Eli Apple as last year. You might want to fix that, my brother.
It's too late for that. Rotten apple right now.
Yeah, sitting on somebody's couch. But all right, now we're going to go into the NFC Championship game. My bad, K-Walk. The top 2 teams in the NFC, maybe even in the NFL, went head-to-head in this NFC Championship. The Eagles ended up beating the 49ers 31-7 to become the NFC champs and to go on to Super Bowl 57 to play the Chiefs. What were your thoughts on this game? Jay, I'm coming to you first.
My thoughts was I was disappointed because I wanted to see these 2 teams play at full strength. And then when Brock Purdy goes down, K-Walk, who was the backup that came in after Johnson, was it?
Josh Johnson.
Josh Johnson. Then he goes down, and then Purdy comes back in and he can't throw. So to me, I left that game with disappointment because we did not get to see what that matchup would have been. Look, and again, that doesn't take anything away from the Eagles. The Eagles did exactly what they were supposed to do. I mean, defensively, the the pressure that they can put on the opposing team's quarterback and the guys that can just get after you in the pass rush, I don't think that can be understated. And I do think, and normally, you know, I praise Kyle Shanahan constantly about his play calling and his offensive schemes. I thought it was a mistake. Who was it? Riddick, Britt, that was coming off the edge? It was a mistake to try to block that man with a tight end. I thought that
second string tight end.
A mistake. So not taking anything away from the Eagles. They played a great game. They did exactly what they were supposed to do. But obviously the injury to Purdy, Josh Johnson not really being able to do anything, then he gets hurt. It was a game that, you know, we really didn't get to see, in my opinion. But you know, Philly did what they had to do, and that's football. You know, injuries are unfortunately a part of the game, and sometimes they show up at all the wrong times. And for San Francisco, it was just an unlucky day for injuries.
Okay, what?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we had a couple of injuries there, or that went down. Fred Warner went down at the second play of the game. Yeah. He popped back in, got right back in, and it did what Fred Warner usually does on a weekly basis. Yeah, we talked about Brock Purdy getting hurt. I'll get to that in a second. But yeah, you mentioned, Jay, about you know, the tight end blocking Reddick. I mean, those were two plays. There were only two plays on that happened on. I think it was the first play, and then the first play of the game for the 49ers, first offensive series for them. And then ultimately the play that he got hurt on, yeah. I didn't mind him doing that because of the fact of the matter is generally the ball gets out quick when Kyle Shanahan dials that play up. I get what he was trying to do, just trying to get in his way. You don't expect Tyler Kroft to block Reddick for sure. You just want him to just get in the way. Just trying to design something to get open. I get why he did that, because he wanted to put more protection to the left side of the line than the backside. You didn't really think Reddick would get there, especially just Kroft, being in his way. But I get all that. That's a lot of people said that, and I yelled at the TV too. Why are you doing that, Kyle? But then after that, it wasn't really a major factor in the game. And I'm going to tell you why, because of the fact of the matter is, that was a turnover that the 49ers ultimately stopped them on. I think they went 3 and out after that big turnover there, but Brock got hurt. First touchdown wasn't a touchdown. Kyle didn't challenge it. We all saw that. So I thought ultimately before Brock Purdy, even a little bit after Brock Purdy got hurt, I thought the 49ers still were doing what they normally do. Just Josh Johnson, he just looked like he looks scared as a cat on a Ferris wheel, man. He had no idea what he was doing, man. He looked at it. I mean, I don't know what he was looking at. And then, they ultimately, got the offense going, if you will, with McCaffrey. That's why you bring him in. He was that workhorse. He fought through that, those tackles, tied the game up. But then you had to see the defense play. The defense stepped it up a little bit. But then I tell you what, man, if the sports gods didn't want, I don't know what the 49ers did to the sports gods to have this play out the way that they did. The injuries, the penalties at the wrong time. I'm talking about the stupid penalties. I mean, just some questionable. Some was like, why are you doing that? And then you had the Josh Johnson. I said, okay, well, it was 14-7. I said, okay, let's just get to the half. We had to get the ball, start the second half. I said, just don't turn the ball over. No stupid turnovers. Josh Johnson can't even catch a simple, shotgun snap. Yeah, because he's looking at the offensive line or he's looking at where he's going with the ball before he catches it. But overall, man, I'm just frustrated that we didn't, like you mentioned, Jay, we didn't get to see the 49ers team. And I guarantee you, if you see that, if the 49ers stay healthy, Brock Purdy stays healthy, that's a different outcome of that game. I truly believe that. And because of the fact of the matter is, I've seen the way the 49ers played. I see on both sides of the ball. And I just had a feeling, man. I said this to myself. This is what I said to myself going in. And God is my witness. I said this: Brock Purdy's going to get hurt in this game, but and the 49ers are going to win the game. And then Jimmy Garoppolo is going to come in and win the Super Bowl. It didn't all come to fruition, but the Brock Purdy injury did. But again, like you stated, Jay, as a fan, very disappointing, man. I'd rather have lost with the full team on than lose like that, and then say that the best team won. You can't really honestly say that. to be honest with you. But you alluded to it, Jay. The Eagles took advantage of this of Brock Purdy not being there. I mean, anytime that you have to play your fourth string quarterback and ultimately your fifth string quarterback as well, because Christian McCaffrey lined up at quarterback at one point. So it was just something that the Philadelphia Eagles has had to take advantage of. And I think any team would have done that, not just the Eagles, to be honest with you.
No, I think the Eagles did good. They did what they were supposed to do, which is take out your quarterback. Now, you don't want nobody to get hurt, injured. But for defensive linemen, what's the game plan? Make the quarterback nervous, take him out. You don't want nobody to get injured. It was unfortunate. Hassan Reddick did what he was supposed to do. He went, made a good play on the football, just so happened to injure Brock Purdy's arm. I think regardless if Brock Purdy was playing or not playing, the Eagles would have still won because of the trenches. Absolutely. If you would have seen, if you slow those tape down and you see, because Jalen Hurts did not have a good game. But what happened? We started to run the ball, right? So that means our offensive line started to push back the top defensive line in the league. If I am correct, we could rewind the tapes if you want. They pushed back, so they moved the line of scrimmage back about 4 yards into Fred Warner and Dre Greenlaw's lap, picking up easier 5, 3, 3.5. 4, 5 yard rushes every time they rush the ball. So that's going to equate to some first downs. And then you tried to get Miles Sanders to the outside. Nick Bosa played it well. Fred Warner played it well. But what did the Eagles do? And I had to give Nick Sirianni credit on this. They put in Kenneth Gainwell because he's faster trying to get to that outside, get to the edge. You started to beat them. That's when we started to hit them in the red zone, being that also the 49ers are not the greatest defense in the red zone is where we got them the most. Because Jalen Hurts, again, you could see it, his shoulder was clearly impacting him. But the Eagles did they were supposed to do. So I'm not discrediting nothing the Eagles did. A lot of people want to do that. They want to take this win away. Oh, it wasn't the best team, yada, yada, yada. No, the best team showed up that day. Sorry. I wish I would have been able to see Brock Purdy play full time, but I'm not getting into this. Defense did what they were supposed to. If I can recall, the Eagles scored 31 points against the 49ers defense. They ain't scored against the 49ers offense. They scored 31 points against the 49ers defense. It is what it is. But let me ask you guys another question. Do you think Eagles defensive end Hassan Reddick should have been considered a finalist, not to win it, a finalist for Defensive Player of the Year? Jay, you want to take this one first?
Yeah, I mean, that's a hard question for me just because I don't know that I've watched him a ton this year. Mm-hmm. So it's hard for me to say. I mean, obviously a lot of people talk about Bosa and Micah Parsons. Look, I haven't watched Reddick enough to probably give a fair evaluation, but I know he's got a lot of sacks and he's made a lot of plays. So I'm sure he's just as worthy to be a finalist as some of the other guys on the list. So I would say, yeah, I mean, he certainly could be a finalist. But I do want to say one thing, though, Britt, about what you were saying, because you're right. I think two things can be true. Like, the Eagles definitely played good football. I don't think you should take anything away from the Eagles. They did exactly what they were supposed to do. But at the same time, I do think when you lose, when you're already playing with your third string quarterback, then you're down to your fourth string quarterback, I do think it not only affects your offense, but it also affects your defense, because the 49ers now know, okay, we can't score any points. We got a quarterback in the game that literally cannot throw. So now we got to do things uncharacteristic. We might have to take more chances. We might have to try to make more plays. So I don't know that them giving up 31 is indicative of what would have happened had they had their full offense, because then you can play defense a little bit different. So I do think both things can be true. The Eagles played great. They deserve credit. And at the same time, we can say clearly the 49ers were affected when Brock Purdy went out of the game. I just don't think there's any question.
I'm not saying that they weren't affected, but when you hear 49ers, everybody else talk about it, it's, oh, this, that, and the third. I understand all that. I get that. But don't discredit what the Eagles did do. They did what they were supposed to do. Because
no doubt.
If Nick Bosa or somebody else ended up taking Jalen Hurts out, we ain't hearing this other story from the other side. coming to no, they would say,
Maybe.
that's the
Maybe.
number one defense.
I mean,
that's the number one defense in the NFL. They did what they were supposed to do.
But Britt, if Jalen Hurts got hurt and Gardner Minshew played
he was hurt
and the Eagles lost, people would be saying, well, if Hurts was there, it would have been a different. I mean, come on. I mean, people would say that. Maybe not you, but I know people would say that. If Jalen Hurts got hurt and Gardner Minshew had to play and Philly lost, I guarantee you Eagles fans would be saying, well, if we had Jalen, the game would be different. I mean, I don't think there's any question. They were saying that the 2 games that Minshew played earlier in the season. So why wouldn't they say it now?
No, they were saying what that you sure? Because my understanding at the end of that season, they say the Eagles were going to be a one and done team. Were they not?
I'm saying those 2 games that Gardner Minshew quarterback that the Eagles lost.
I understand what you're saying.
People were saying
I get what you're saying.
If Jalen was there, we would have won. It would have been no different if he quarterbacked this game.
The main story was, well, look at the 49ers and what they did with their third string backup. So there's no excuses over there. So the same thing goes to the 49ers. No excuses. Just take the loss. I understand the situation happened. Again, the defense did what they were supposed to do. Things happen. They just lost. It's time to move on.
I just think there's a difference between excuses and reasons. I don't think I know I'm not making excuses, and I don't think K Walk made any excuses for the 49ers, but there are reasons. Like,
I don't think
it's not an excuse that they lost. But if we can't sit up here and say the game was very different than it would have been because you're playing with your 5th string quarterback, I mean, what are we talking about?
But here's the thing. I don't care if Brock Purdy was playing or not. Maybe it would have been a closer game, but I think the trenches is where the 49ers got beat at the most. So the Eagles still would have won, even if Brock Purdy was in there. Because one of the reasons why Brock Purdy wasn't able to throw that quick pass because of the coverage in the backfield, because Hassan Reddick was then able to get there as well. So a lot of people also aren't thinking about that neither. So, but I will give this to the 49ers. That defense is something else because they was right in Jalen's face, even though, and we had to switch it over to the run to run a little bit more. So mind you, they did score 31 points on the defense. So just give them credit where credit is due. That's all I'm saying. I understand the situation that transpired.
I've given them credit,
but you got not just you. Not just I'm not just talking about everybody.
I think we have to be realistic and say
I'm absolutely realistic.
When you have no offense, when you have literally no offense, a quarterback that literally cannot throw the ball because he's hurt, clearly that puts much more pressure and emphasis on your defense because they're going to be on the field way more than normal.
I get that,
three and out.
But that's not the storyline. I get that,
well,
but that's
well,
not
all
the storyline.
I'm saying is the fact that the Eagles scored 31, that really doesn't mean anything to me because I don't think they would have scored 31 if it was a normal game. That's all I'm saying. They might have won. I just don't think it would have been as lopsided as it was without a quarterback. I think anyone would agree with
24, 21, whatever it was. I think the Eagles would have still won regardless. All right. So it's time to move on. You guys ready to move on?
Something we'll never know, honestly.
Ready to move on now?
Sure.
All right, let's go to the next topic here. We're going to get to the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys fired offensive coordinator Kellen Moore, and then Kellen Moore gets hired by the LA Chargers. Do you think this will hurt or help the Cowboys? Jay, I'm going to come to you first.
I never really understood all the hype around Kellen Moore to begin with. I mean, I think he's an okay coordinator. Like, to me, he doesn't set the world on fire at all. So I don't know that it's really going to make the Cowboys offense any worse or better. I think it's going to depend on who they get in there. Can they get somebody in there that can be a little bit more innovative? But I don't really look at it as a big loss for the Cowboys. I don't understand the fascination with Kellen Moore. I know he's been a hot name around the league for a lot of years. Maybe I'm missing something. I don't understand the fascination with him. So I don't really think it's a big loss for the Cowboys. I definitely think they can get someone just as good, if not better, to take over that spot.
Yeah. I don't know. I can't necessarily say that because they were leading the NFL, especially last year when Dak was healthy, in points per game. They were a high-powered offense, and they would look like they was trending that way a little bit this year after he came back, although, Dak did have a little trouble with some interceptions. So he did contribute a lot to that the offensive play calling, which was very successful. I think it was more about Dak making the proper play and executing the team executing properly. I mean, when they had to run it this year, they switched over and they ran it this year. Kellen Moore, I'm pretty sure, said, "Hey, Tony Pollard is our running back, is our better running back. He's much faster than Zeke. He catch out of the backfield. That's not just Mike McCarthy." And then they switched those two positions. This is going to be a tough one. I guess we don't know until we really see next season. But I'm not mad at. I'm sorry. I can't remember what I was going to say. I'm not necessarily mad at the Cowboys. I think it may hurt a little bit. There's going to be an adjustment period because Mike McCarthy is said to be calling the plays next season. So Kellen Moore, Mike McCarthy. Mike McCarthy has trouble with time management, so it's going to be very interesting. But K-Walk, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think it's kind of everything you guys mentioned. I mean, it just seems it's a matter of who's going to be his replacement. Because I thought that offense was kind of vanilla, even though they were able to score as many points per game as they did. I still think that it was a vanilla offense. There was no real creativity there. Just Dak, get the ball to your playmakers are just basically just simple routes. CD go deep. Schultz. You work the middle of the field. We'll hand it off to Zeke. We'll hand it off to Pollard, and hopefully these other complementary receivers, Gallup and those guys, can get open. There was no creativity there. It just seemed like it was very blah to me. So if they can get a creative offensive coordinator in there with those weapons, I think it'll to answer the question. I think they will be better off in that case. But right now, I like Jay mentioned, like he alluded to, is that I don't see the hype surrounded behind Moore there. But I think it's going to be interesting to see how what he looks like in Los Angeles. I almost made that mistake again, guys. I almost say San Diego, but we'll see what he's going to look like with the Chargers. But I think it's all whomever they bring in. If it's McCarthy, then they're not. If it's McCarthy calling the plays, then they're definitely not better off. They're definitely worse. They're going to be worse off because, like you mentioned, Britt, Mike McCarthy got his own head coaching things to worry about, clock management, things of that nature. Making sure that where you want to go. You want to do? Should we go here on 4th and 1 or 4th and 2, and when we're on inside our own territory? You got to worry about that type stuff. So I don't think he should be focusing on play calling by any stretch. But like they said, it remains to be seen.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting what happens. Kellen Moore. So that was actually my next question to you guys. Do you think Kellen Moore will help Justin Herbert in that Chargers offense? Anybody can go first.
I don't know. I mean, I got to say again, the Chargers offense was pretty decent. I don't see them really I don't see him as like a game changer. I don't see him making a significant impact. Like maybe they'll be good. I mean, maybe he'll add a couple wrinkles here or there, but I just don't think he's really going to make a splash or a significant difference to like put the Chargers over the top or anything like that. Like, I don't think there's anybody right now saying, oh, now that we got Kellen Moore, we're going to beat the Chiefs. Like, I just don't see it happening. So yeah, I don't get it. Maybe I'm missing something though, but I don't get it.
I concur, Jay.
This is what I will say. There was a reason why the Cowboys were hanging on to Kellen Moore for a number of years. Because he was with the Cowboys organization for a little bit before they decided to fire him. I felt like he was more of a fallout guy. Like they had to let somebody go. If you're not going to let go of the head coach and Mike McCarthy, which a lot of fans wanted, you have to let somebody go. And I just think Kellen Moore was that fall guy, unfortunately. But I think, me personally, I do think there's going to be a slight difference. I thought he was a decent offensive coordinator, but you're only as good as your quarterback. So your quarterback play, in my opinion. All right, guys, we're going to head to the next thing because actually, let me see what I want to do first. You know what? Let's do this one. Because it is Super Bowl time. And as we know, the Super Bowl is going to be between the Kansas City Chiefs and my Philadelphia Eagles. I don't care if anybody wants to give them credit or not for winning that NFC champs, but they did. So someone told me I care about results. I don't care about what anybody says. But we know the greatest thing about this Super Bowl, of course, is that this will be the first Super Bowl in NFL history where there are two starting Black quarterbacks, which is to me and all. If you guys want to comment on that, you are more than welcome to comment on that. But we have come a long way, a very long way, guys. Like, this is 2023, and the NFL has been around for how long? A very long time. So this is the first time. J.K. Walk, do you guys want to comment on that real fast?
Yeah, no, I think it's good. I mean, you give guys an opportunity to play a position, and eventually you're going to end up in the Super Bowl. So it's interesting that and maybe I just haven't been watching it. I don't know if it's been something that they've been talking about in the national media a whole lot, but it almost feels kind of commonplace now to see African-American guys quarterback in the position. You're right. We've come a long way since Doug Williams, winning one with the then Redskins. So yeah, it's definitely a cool thing for sure.
Absolutely. K-Walk, you have any thoughts on that?
Oh yeah, it's monumental. I mean, what can you say? I mean, you got two quarterbacks there. That, like Jay said. I mean, I remember when Tony Dungy first won his Super Bowl. Being the first Black head coach to win a Super Bowl, and they got Patrick Mahomes there as well. Obviously following, like Jay mentioned, Doug Williams. But yeah, I think it's great. There's a lot of storylines in this Super Bowl for sure, and obviously this being the biggest one.
Yeah, that wasn't actually the question, guys, but I just wanted us to give our thoughts on it because I think it is huge and it is monumental, and it's historic and it's very important. But hopefully we get more Black owners as well. Actually, we don't even have one. Can we at least get one? I'm going to say that right now, right here, right now. Let's get one. Just one. I'm asking for just one right now. All right. But outside of that being a storyline, what is the better storyline for this Super Bowl? The Kelsey brothers or Andy Reid versus Philly? K-Walk, you want to take this first?
Yeah, I think it's the second question. I mean, second part of the question that you asked. I think Andy Reid. I mean, we all know that Andy Reid was former head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles. Now he gets to go to the Super Bowl and play against them. And not only that, a lot of Philadelphia fans, as much as they hate the opposition or dislike the opposition, they actually like Andy Reid. And they give him nothing but the utmost respect, for what he did when he was his time in Philadelphia. So I think this is the biggest storyline. I just think, the Kelsey brothers is cute kind of thing. You'll see his parents wearing half Eagles, half Chiefs. We get that, but Kelsey on the offensive line, you don't really talk about offensive linemen that much. Now, it had been Kelsey the tight end versus Kelsey the safety or Kelsey the corner. If they were both on the field at the same time, I think I would get the nod there. But it definitely, for me, Andy Reid versus Philadelphia Eagles.
What about you, Jack?
Yeah, I agree with K-Walk. I think Andy Reid and the Eagles are the bigger story, only because I feel, and I could be totally wrong about this, but I feel like, I know we've had brothers on the field at the same time. I don't know if it's ever happened in a Super Bowl, but it may have. I don't know. But we've first time in the Super Bowl. So we've seen brothers on the field against each other. I think K-Walk's point is a good one. They're not going to be on the field at the same time. It's a good story. I don't want to act like it's nothing. I mean, incredible thing to have two brothers playing in the NFL when we know how hard it is to actually get there and then to end up in the Super Bowl. I do think it's a good story, but I think the fact that Andy Reid was in Philly for so long and all those really, really good years and getting them to the Super Bowl, but not being able to get over the hump, and now going against them in KC and maybe blocking them from winning another Super Bowl. I think that whole storyline is just a little bit more juicy for me. So I'm going to take Andy Reid and the Eagles, but the Kelsey story, it's pretty cool when you kind of drill down on it because, you don't see that a lot. Family members in the NFL, let alone in the Super Bowl.
Yeah. For me, because I love both Kelsey brothers. I watch their show. They have a show on YouTube as well, guys.
It's a good show.
It's a very good show. Two good guys. You could tell they're good guys. But I think I'm going to go with Andy Reid versus Philly as well. It's not really a rivalry or anything like that because Philadelphia loves Andy Reid so much. I know this game, of course, Philadelphia fans are going to talk their crap. Kansas City. Fans are going to talk their crap because they beat us 3-0 and head-to-head matchups. So this one's going to be very, very interesting. But we know the best storyline of this are the two starting black quarterbacks, first ever in the history of the NFL. All right, guys, we're going to move on. We're going to switch gears to the NBA. And so recently the Lakers lost to the Boston Celtics in an overtime loss, 121-125 this past weekend. LeBron clearly displayed his frustration. He was extremely frustrated with the refs for a non-call towards the end of the game, or actually at the end of regulation, which ended up forcing the game and which ended up causing the game to go into overtime. Anthony Davis, after the game, stated, "We got cheated tonight, honestly." Do you agree with that statement? Jay, I'm going to come to you first.
So I don't necessarily like the word cheated because it implies that maybe the refs did it on purpose. So I don't know if I would use the word cheated, but they definitely got screwed. Like that was a foul. And I'm not a fan of the antics and LeBron and all the flipping and flopping around on the court, but that was clearly a foul. And I don't know how you miss it. It wasn't even one that was hard to see. So, yeah, they got screwed. I don't think there's any question about that. Cheated, I don't like the word. But, yeah, I mean, that was a horrible call. Now, look, again, you have an opportunity to win the game in overtime. So I don't want to say that's the reason why they lost. But that was definitely a missed call, a really, really bad missed call.
Okay, well.
Yeah, I mean – cheated, I would say no. I agree with Jay there as far as being cheated. But if you look at it, if you really want to dissect that play, look at LeBron when he went to the basket. 3 steps. 3 steps. 2 steps in the hop. Two steps in the hop. Look at it. It's clearly a travel. So LeBron got away with that first and foremost. So if you, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't seen it, go back and see LeBron going to the basket on that. Did he get fouled? Yeah, is it though? It's normal. So that non-call should be a normal one. That non-call should be normal. So that's LeBron James. He's got to fight through that and get to the basket. You got the advantage already because you took more steps than you were allowed to. So you're LeBron. Why not? I'll see this all the time from LeBron. So why not give me that, LeBron? Why not give me that? Fight through that. That's a ticky-tack foul. So I'm gonna say it was petty. LeBron did get fouled, but in the grand scheme of things, and when you talk about the NBA, like Britt alluded to, if you're not going to call the travel, don't call that foul in that particular situation.
Yeah, just let them play.
Yeah, let it play out.
If my understanding, they do it in the playoffs all the time. Let them play. At the end, at the end of regulation, odds are you're not going to get that call because they're going to let you play like it's street ball. You walk 18 times to get to the rim. Well, they're not. They shouldn't call that little foul. You be all right. But no, I don't think that's where they lost the game. First of all, you still had an opportunity to win the game, but then you allowed your frustration to get to you so much, as we've seen LeBron do, jumping all around the daggone court. He just had a whole...
Beverly with the camera. Patrick Beverly brings out the camera.
Brings out a camera like, look.
Cameras in the come on.
But no, I can recall the Lakers were up 3 with 14 seconds left on the clock. So it was like 105, 102. Lakers are up. Okay. Al Horford misses. This to me was the crucial part of the game. Al Horford misses a 3-point shot. Jaylen Brown puts in a putback layup. What does that mean? That means nobody on the Lakers were boxing anybody out. They put up a shot. Odds are they're going to go for that 3. Make sure you box out. That should be the first thing you say before you come out of that timeout. Make sure you box out. Even if you don't come out of a timeout, scream it to your team so everybody can hear it. Make sure you grab this rebound. That rebound was supposed to go to the Lakers. They didn't do what they were supposed to do. So don't complain on the other end. I don't want to hear it. So no, Anthony Davis, these refs did not cheat anything. Maybe some calls don't always go the right way. That's the whole point of the game. Because if they want a cause to go right, we will all just be using technology. But it's a human side to it. So that's why they keep the refs in all sports. Football, NBA, anything. MLB. Go ahead, K-Walk.
And then the next game, what did LeBron and AD do? And then
Sit
the very
out.
next day,
Sit out. Exactly. You sit
You know what I'm
out.
saying?
So they
Come
ain't
on,
got
man.
no
I ain't
reason
trying
to
to hear that. I ain't
complain.
trying to hear that.
All right, guys, let's move on. Let's move on to the next topic. I want to do NFL. Take your pick. Super Bowl editions. We already know how Take Your Picks on go. Is this or that? Basically, we give you two choices: this or that. First one might be fairly simple. We got Andy Reid, Kansas City's Chiefs head coach Andy Reid, or the Philadelphia Eagles head coach Nick Sirianni. K-Walk, who you got?
I'm going with Andy Reid. The reason why I'm going with Andy Reid is because he's got, I think, in my opinion, well, he's got Patrick Mahomes. Let me just put it that way. I might be jumping the gun or something else, but yeah, he's got Patrick Mahomes. So anytime you got Patrick Mahomes, you got a chance. And his creative play calling is tremendous. I know that that defense is kind of questionable, but that offense is very dynamic with the play calling that they come up with. They got Travis Kelce there as well, and then Patrick Mahomes. Now that he doesn't have to focus on Tyreek Hill, he's able to spread the ball around a lot more than he did in the previous years when Tyreek was there. So I'm going to take Andy Reid just because of his play calling, and he's back to where he's comfortable with being. It seemed like every time I turn around, the Chiefs are in the last few years are in the Super Bowl. So Andy Reid for me for sure.
I'm going to go with Andy Reid because he's a Hall of Famer head coach. I mean, what can I say to his resume? Look what he did for the Philadelphia Eagles. Although he never won a Super Bowl, he did get us there. He's to me the best head coach pregame to plan the game pregame. When things don't go his way, it may not always work out as far as the adjustment, but that's why he has other coordinators like Eric Bieniemy and other coaching staff. But Andy Reid to me over Nick Sirianni. Nick Sirianni still has to prove himself. Andy Reid does not. Look, I ain't got no hate on Andy Reid. I'm going with Andy Reid. Jay, what you got? Who you got?
Yeah, I think you got to go Andy Reid here. I love the fact that every game he's going to come in and there's going to be a new wrinkle. Like I guarantee you in the Super Bowl, we'll see something from the Chiefs that we have not seen all year. So he's always going to have a new wrinkle. And I don't think we should overlook the fact that the Super Bowl is different than any other game, obviously, but the amount of media that's going to be there, the amount of eyeballs, it's just a different environment. So the fact that Reid has been there several times, and for Sirianni, this is going to be his first time, I think that alone just gives Reid an advantage as well. So I think Andy Reid's really the only choice on this one.
I will say this. If Nick Sirianni wins the Super Bowl, I might have to switch it over to Nick Sirianni. Only because he got there quicker and he won it a little bit faster. I changed my mind. Still Andy Reid. Still Andy Reid. All right, next one, guys. Chiefs O-line or the Eagles O-line? Who you got? Jay, I'm coming to you first.
Man, that's actually a good question because they both have really good offensive lines. They really do. I think they do it a little bit differently. I think maybe the Eagles O-line is a little bit more physical. I think the Chiefs do an excellent job of pass protecting Patrick Mahomes. I might give the slight edge to Philly in this one. I do like the physicality that they play with, especially if they're all healthy. So I think I'm going to give the slight edge to Philly, but it's close. It's close.
I'm going to go with the Eagles O-line. Guys, just because they're both in it, this does not mean the Eagles are going to win. I just think they're a little bit stronger. You have Lane Johnson. Look what Lane Johnson has done to some of the best Pro Bowl top tier defensive end. Michael Parsons shut him down. Nick Bosa struggled a little bit when he went up against them. I can keep going on and on and on. And he's hurt right now. He has that groin muscle completely tore in that Giants game. So he's playing completely hurt. Then you have Jason Kelce in the middle. Without him, this Eagles O-line is not the same. But I agree with you, Jay. The Chiefs O-line is very good in that pass rush. What am I saying? Pass rush. But I'm going to give a slight edge to the Eagles O-line. K-Walk, who you have?
Yeah, I'll make it unanimous. I'll take the Eagles offensive line here. I just think that, like Jay alluded to, and it's what my 49ers love to do, is own that line of scrimmage, be physical with the, with your play, with that own line play. And we all know that the games are won and lost right there in the trenches. And if you can command that offensive line and you can push guys around, then chances are you're going to win the game more times than not, for sure. So I'll take the Philadelphia offensive line.
But I will say this to everybody. Andy Reid There's a reason why the Eagles O-line became so great is because it started when Andy Reid was there. So he understands he might become the offensive lines coach this for the next 2 weeks as well. All right, next one. Because my time started to tick down here. We have let's go with a fun one. We have dome or no dome on the stadium. So you prefer the dome, don't want the dome. K-Walk, your choice.
Dome all day. Give me a dome all day. Give me a dome every single day, twice on Sundays. I tell you that. I mean, I tell you, I'm a former wide receiver, and not only that, my last 2 games that I went to with my 49ers a couple years ago went down to Washington. It's down for me. I'm in New York, guys, so it's down in Washington, and it was just a torrential downpour. Couldn't stand it. Did not like it. Did not enjoy the victory, but did not enjoy the game. Sitting down, just drenched, man. Just drenched. Go to Atlanta and totally different atmosphere. Granted, it was 70 degrees outside, but still, it had it rained, it still would have been a nice environment nonetheless. And you get to do whatever you want to do. You can't blame it on the elements by any stretch and say, well, if it wasn't raining or if it wasn't snowing and things of that nature, especially if you spend so much money on a ticket, you want to be in the most comfortable environment that you could possibly be in, for sure. So give me a dome every day and twice on Sundays.
Jay, dome or no dome?
Everything K-Walk said makes sense, but I'm going the other way. I want no dome. I want traditional football. I want the elements. I want the atmosphere. I want it to be played outside. It just feels more like football to me if it's played without the dome. So K-Walk's points were great, and as a spectator, I probably wouldn't mind being in the comfortable dome. But I think as a player, I would want to play without the dome. So I'm going.
Even as a player, both spectator and a player. I'm keeping in mind I'm a former wide receiver, so I want the elements perfectly laid out for me.
I think for me, I'm primary spectator, but I am a spectator. I've never played football before, flag football if that counts. I'm going no dome. With everything that Jay said, the elements, let him make a real, true, tough, gritty, get your jersey dirty type of football game. Just nasty, physical game. Snow, rain, mud, sleet, whatever else you could get. So no dome. All right, a couple more guys, and we're going to move on. Let's go receiver versus corner. Let's go wide receiver Juju Smith-Schuster or cornerback Darius Slay. Jay, I'm coming to you first.
Man, this is a good one. I'm probably going to give the advantage to Slay. I think he's probably a more complete player overall. I mean, the Chiefs are going to move Juju around a ton and put him in a bunch of different positions. So it'll be interesting just to see even how much they really match up against each other. But I think Slay's probably a better player, I guess. I'm going to go Slay here.
Yeah, I agree with you, Jay. They are going to move him around. Maybe I should have said, or the Eagles corners. That might have made a little bit more sense. But if it was Tyreek Hill, I probably would have went Tyreek Hill. But he's no longer there. So I'm going to go Slay. Slay is getting older. He can't get beat if he's not paying attention. I will say he doesn't get beat a lot, but once in a while, which makes me sick as an Eagles fan. But I'm going to go with Slay. Yeah, I'm going to go with Slay. K-Walk, who you got?
If it 101, I'm going to give it to Juju because of the fact of the matter, he has Mahomes throwing the ball, and it's going. And when you got Mahomes throwing the ball, and you have that offensive scheme that Andy Reid runs, and that offense that Chiefs offense runs. There's a lot of times it's not going to be a traditional route. You may run your route at first. Yeah. It may be an out route, and you can jump that, but then also ultimately it turns into a scramble drill. And a lot of stuff that and that's hard to cover. It's hard to cover. But I guess if you ask in 1-on-1, the ball comes out in 3 seconds, 4 seconds, whatever the case may be, I'll give it to Slay. But if it's Juju, he's following Juju. Slay follows Juju everywhere he goes. It's going to be hard because Andy Reid's going to dial up some stuff to get him open. Those you mentioned, he's getting older, Britt, and those crossing routes are the hardest routes. I don't care if you're 25 years old or 35-year-old corner. Those routes are the hardest routes to cover if you're in man. Those crossing routes from one sideline to the other or one hash mark to the other. It's going to be hard, but I'm at first I said Juju, but I'll give it to Slay. A slight edge to Slay.
The one thing I will say is that odds are Darius not going to follow him, because what I noticed when watching the Eagles game, when a wide receiver does what you just said, Jay, they pass it off to the safety and over all the way over to the corner, and they've been getting a lot better. Actually, they're pretty good at that as well. We're gonna see. All right, couple more. This is a good one. Michael Jackson or Prince halftime performances. K-Walk coming to you first. Hey, it was 93 and 2007, so we all were alive.
Okay. No, I thought you meant like as an artist in whole. I didn't know you were gonna go.
No. They're halftime performances. Try to remember as much as possible.
I'm trying to recall it. I didn't take my ginkgo today. Let me try to recall. I know Prince had a dope one, man. Prince had a dope one.
Let me just say a disclaimer. I did not tell them to take your pick options prior. So if it's a little tough for them to remember, just bear with me. Michael Jackson was 93. All right. Bear with us.
If I recall this correctly, ladies and gentlemen, I believe Prince had a slightly better halftime performance than MJ. I think MJ had 1,000 people. I can't recall this for the life of me, but I'll take Prince because I can recall that one a little bit better than I can recall MJ. And I know MJ fans are gonna be like, "What?" But yeah, I'll take Prince. I'm going to say Prince.
If you're an MJ fan, you better be a Prince fan. If you're a Prince fan, you better be an MJ fan.
Yeah,
I know that's not how it goes,
I can't recall,
but you need to be. But Jay, who you got?
I think K-Walk is right. Like, I think the Prince one is remembered more, like in terms of being a better performance. But I think K-Walk probably knows this. I'm not a Prince guy. I never liked Prince. I was MJ all the way. Prince had a couple songs that I liked, but I was never into Prince. So just based off of that alone, I'm going with MJ's Super Bowl performance.
That's why I think
Prince's is remembered more fondly.
That's why I went with that.
Give me MJ. Give me MJ.
Come on, I got Purple Rain. Purple Rain.
Yeah,
no, I'm just playing.
I would have maybe Diamonds and Pearls, and other than that, you can have Prince.
Prince was the dude. That was that guy. Mind you, you must be that guy if you could wear heels and makeups and get all the ladies in the world.
Oh yeah, no doubt, super talented. Just wasn't. I just wasn't feeling it.
And then he was smooth. But for me, I love both performances. I gotta go with MJ. And I'll tell you why. I know Prince rained. It was raining. It was windy. He plays through it. But MJ incorporated everybody in the entire stadium.
That's what I said. Like 1,000 people. 1,000 people.
Hundreds of thousands of people in this stadium. He incorporated, well, maybe 50s of thousands of people. Everybody in the entire stadium. You know how complex that is to give people signs? Just regular people like me and you, give them signs to say, hey, I need you to flip it. And everybody was on point. It was sync. I mean, this is when he stood up on the stage and just stood there, and the crowd is screaming for like 25 minutes, and then he turns and they scream for another 25 minutes. So I got to give it to MJ just because of that. But both performances were fantastic. Next one, because we got to move on.
Let me just say this, ladies and gentlemen. Britt watched that on YouTube because Britt was like 8 months old when that performance came out. So she saw that replay much later on in life.
I did, guys. I did watch it on YouTube. But I will say I'm a huge MJ fan as well. And I watch a lot of documentaries regarding that halftime show. So that's another reason why I remember it. But so 2 more: chicken wings or pizza? K-Walk.
Ooh, that's a great question. Are we talking about New York pizza? New York pizza?
No, just chicken wings or pizza.
Hey, man, I'm saying because it's different. I like chicken. I am because the chicken wings down in Georgia are off the chain, but pizza in New York is off the chain as well.
Okay, so Georgia chicken wings. Since I'm in New York, pizza.
So I'm going. Okay, there you go. So since I'm in New York, I was going to say since I'm in New York, even though we got some good chicken wings here in New York, don't get me wrong, but I'm going pizza all day. New York slice all day, every day.
Jay, chicken wings or pizza?
Y'all are gonna think something's wrong with me, but I don't like chicken wings. I don't eat chicken wings. I don't like chicken wings. I don't think I've had a chicken wing in 2 decades. But I'll eat pizza every single night if I can. So
all right, let me change yours up. I gotta change. Let me change it. You like burgers?
I do like burgers. Yes.
Burgers and pizza.
That's a much closer one for me, but I'm still going with it. For me, nothing beats a good New York style slice of pizza.
There
nothing.
You go, brother.
So
there you go.
If I can get some pizza, I'm good.
I gotta go with pizza, guys. Like that pepperoni pizza is just calling my name 24/7. So I'm not gonna try to act like it's chicken. I love chicken wings, don't get me wrong. Right. But I love me some pizza.
Now, Britt, if you had said a Philly cheesesteak, you might have had me, because that good Philly cheesesteak, that's really hard to beat. That's hard to beat.
People really have that for Super Bowl. They have that like every day.
Yeah, that's true.
I got like a Super Bowl specific. All right, one more, then we're moving on. Chips and dip. Let me make sure I say that right. Chips and dip. Chips and dip. Or nachos. Jay, I'm coming to you first.
Man, y'all are really getting a look into my eating habits. I don't really like chips and dip. So for me, it's probably gonna have to just be nachos with just cheese. I don't even like all that other stuff on my nachos, but just nachos and cheese, I'm good. So give me the nachos.
Jay, you got a child's palate.
I do. I do. You have no idea, Britt. I really do.
For me, I love chips with some oh my goodness, what's my family thing that we make? I can't even think of it. Clam dip. We make something that's called clam dip. I'll make it once we get together. I'll make it for you guys. The best. It's the first thing that goes at every party. But I can't always have that. So I'm gonna go with nachos. Only because I can't have my clam dip all the time. Gotta go with nachos. I go there. You get nachos anywhere as long as they make it right, and it has to have jalapeno peppers. You don't put my jalapeno peppers, I don't want to touch it. I eat it with chicken because beef messes me up. So I eat it with chicken and everything on it. I'm good. I'm gonna be honest, K-Walk. Beef messes me up. I'll be honest. You ever see White Chicks? White Chicks? Who's in the bathroom? That's what beef does to me. So I try to stay away from it. But not to give y'all that visual. But K-Walk,
it's too late. Can't take that back. Can't I see what I've already saw? I'm gonna go with give me some Ruffles, some Ruffle chips with some French onion dip all day, every day, and I'm a good man.
Okay.
All right, there we go. Jay, I got one more topic. You want me to just move on to
No. Do your thing.
All right. Last topic. I went a little over my time, guys. But as we know, during the first quarter of the NFC Championship, Brock Purdy was injured after a pass rush from Eagles defensive end Hassan Reddick that caused the fumble. I know it hurt K-Walk's heart. It hurt Jay's heart. It did hurt my heart too. Y'all just, I was passionate earlier in that earlier discussion. I didn't even get all my thoughts out.
Because I ain't engaged. That's because I didn't engage.
But Brock Purdy injured his UCL and I believe his throwing elbow, which is a 6-month recovery time. They are reportedly planning to get a second opinion to hopefully avoid Tommy John surgery, which will require a longer recovery time, which is very popular as we know it in baseball. Does Brock Purdy's injury impact the quarterback competition? And who do you think their quarterback will be next year? Would they have to go get somebody on the roster? What? K-Walk, I'm going to come to you first.
Does it impact the competition? Yeah, I think it all depends on when he comes back. If it's a 6 month period, then I think he's good. That'll bring him back in August, early August. A little bit longer if he has that Tommy John surgery. But it's torn. So usually a second opinion usually means you've got to get that surgery. And it's not a bad surgery to have, because sometimes when you have that surgery, your arm tends to be a lot stronger. But with all that being said, I think if he comes back early, if he comes back in the 6 months, I don't think it's still going to be a competition no matter what. But if it comes back later, if he has a surgery, then yeah, it definitely will impact the quarterback competition. Do they go out and get someone? I hear the nonsense of Tom Brady coming in there. Also heard, Aaron Rodgers, Lamar Jackson name was being circulated as well. You definitely got to go get someone for sure, someone solid, because you seen last season they were down to their 5th string quarterback in the NFC Championship. So you definitely got to go out there and get someone who's going to be a solid backup, who can probably even, compete for the number 1 position as well. And in worst case scenario, they'll be the 2nd string if Brock Purdy plays, beats him out, or Trey Lance beats him out for that matter. So yeah, I definitely think they have to go out there and get someone for sure. You can't just have some no-name guy out there, because the fact of the matter is you have to be prepared for what you experienced this past season.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. We're hoping it's not Tommy John surgery, but like you said, your arm can get stronger, but it can also kind of mess with your throwing mechanics a little bit. We see it in baseball all the time, where they have to readjust on how they throw something or whatever it may be. Hopefully it does not happen. It doesn't happen all the time, guys. It does happen sometimes. Bryce Harper, I'm a Philadelphia Phillies fan. If you see behind me, he got Tommy John surgery. He had to get that. So let's see how that impacts him for next year. But I do agree it will impact the quarterback competition, because he won't be there. He's not going to be there, and up until the very end of training camp, right before the season starts. I agree with you. They have to go get someone. I'm hearing a lot of talk about Tom Brady. I don't know if he's a fit there. I know they have everything that you want a team that he will want in his team to have. You have receivers,
10 years ago.
Defense. I know, K-Walk, you don't want him there, but you just never know. You know what Tom Brady wants. Somehow he always get. He seems to be the golden boy of the NFL. I guess. I don't know. But I think they should go with either Brock Purdy or Trey Lance, have them fight it out. Who knows? Jimmy G may even come back. So that's going to be another situation. But the 49ers have to figure out this quarterback situation. They've been dealing with this for the last 3 or 4 years. It has to stop now. But Jay, what are your thoughts?
It's funny how things can just change on a dime, right? Because if Purdy doesn't get hurt, he comes into next year probably the unchallenged starter for the 49ers. Mm-hmm. But now, like, even best case scenario, if he's out 6 months and comes back in August, like, Trey Lance has taken all the reps in minicamp. You know what I mean? So that right there just creates a competition. So it's going to be interesting. I think it definitely opens the door for Trey Lance, opens the door for them to maybe go out and try to get someone. I agree. I don't know why Tom Brady's name keeps coming up, but I do think Aaron Rodgers could be interesting because his skill set, I think it lends itself a little bit more to that 49ers offense. So if you have a chance to get Rodgers, I still think he's got some tread left on the tires. But definitely, I think they just go into it with an open competition, whether it's Lance, whether it's Purdy, or whether it's somebody that they bring in from the outside. The door is wide open for somebody to jump in there and take charge of that quarterback position now.
I'm going to be honest, guys. If they somehow got, which I don't think is going to happen, Aaron Rodgers, I wouldn't be surprised if they went to the Super Bowl and won it. Because like you said, Jay, he does kind of fit that whole, he's mobile. Yeah. He can throw the ball. He's a talented, although he is older. But how much would he cost? That would be the problem.
Yeah, that's.
But no, I do like.
Yeah, this went up 17 million. So
that'll help. That'll help. But I do like Brock Purdy, guys. I like how he handles himself. So I'm hoping it's Brock Purdy. I do like Trey Lance, but we all know it can't be Josh Johnson. He looked like he was scared. But all right, guys, we're gonna go into break. But I will ask, please subscribe. Like, hit that like button, share our channel, The Sideline Speaks. We are The Sideline Speaks here on Facebook. Anywhere you type in The Sideline Speaks will come up. We are now on Spotify, Apple. You gotta help me out, Jay, because I know
Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts right now.
Yes.
We'll be adding some more this week and next, but right now, Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts.
Yes. Please subscribe for more content, that we will be dropping soon. But you guys are listening to The Sideline Speaks with myself, Britne Jones, alongside Jason Collins and Kevin Walker, right here on Never Had It So Good Sports Media Network.
CampLyman.com is an opportunity for my big boys to come get some work. Let's put it all together. We built from the ground up. You know, our cliche is it all starts up front. Once again, start, stance, hand placement, hand separation, get-offs, counter moves, a little bit of everything. Polish up those skills before your middle school or high school season began. Just come work on your craft. Once again, CampLyman.com.
You're inside Never Had It So Good Sports Radio with Princess Cooper, Tim Moore, David the Duck Riley, Jason Collins, Shoshana Cook, Britne Jones, Travis McGee, Eric Scott, and Kevin Walker. We make it easy to talk sports.
Welcome back to the Sideline Speaks. Britne Jones, Kevin Walker, and Jason Collins. Like Britt said, guys, before the break, please hit that subscribe button, share it with your friends, your family. We're just trying to grow this channel as much as we can, so we definitely appreciate your support. Let's talk a little bit more football, guys. Let's talk a little bit more Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts, whether you love the Eagles, whether you hate the Eagles, whether you like Jalen Hurts or not, there's no denying that this kid has been absolutely phenomenal this year. Not only the way that he's performed on the football field, but also in his leadership. I mean, he has really taken that Eagles locker room by storm. You can tell all the guys in that locker room just how much they respect him, just how much they look to him in terms of leadership. So I don't know that anyone could have predicted sort of the ascent and the rise of Jalen Hurts. So it just brings me to my question, like, where do you have Jalen Hurts in your quarterback rankings? Like, we see these rankings come out, the Mahomes, the Burrows, the Josh Allens, all, but Jalen Hurts is rarely in those kinds of conversations. So has his recent performance changed any of that for you, K-Walk? Where do you have Jalen Hurts when you're making your list? Is he top 5? Is he top 10? Is he somewhere middle of the pack? Where do you have Hurts right now?
Yeah, I have him on the middle of the pack, just on the outside of the middle pack. I definitely don't think he's top 5. Definitely don't think he's top 10. I think he still has some work on, some work to do with his throwing, his accuracy there, and his arm strength. I'm really not a big fan of his arm strength either, but I got him in the middle of the pack right now, Jay, and I think he's only elevating his game right now. But I mean, you can't knock what he did this past season. Any stretch. I mean, that's the way I said it. He's only progressing right now, and I think that the longer he plays, the better he'll get. But as of right now, I got him in the middle of the pack right now.
Okay, Britt, you said something earlier about results, and no one's had better results than Jalen Hurts. I mean, he does it a little bit differently, right? He's not your traditional 5-step stand in the pocket guy. He does it differently, but he gets it done. Has he moved up at all in your rankings, Britt? Where do you have him?
So, but he has the capability of doing it. He has shown that. Look, he had a higher accuracy or completion percentage than, I think, Josh Allen. I could go down the list, a lot of them. Tua, not Geno. I think Geno was number 1. Dak, he was higher than. I might have been higher than Tom Brady or somewhere in that range. But if I'm going off of experience, just resume, he hasn't been accurate. He wasn't accurate against the 49ers because of his shoulder. You could tell it's hurting him. You could tell in that Giants game it's bothering them, but he's still winning. I'm going to say top 10. Top 10. I'm going to put him in top 10. Not quite top 5. He wins the Super Bowl. I might put him in top 5. I might have no choice to put him in top 5. But look, I think he's better than a Geno Smith, a Jared Goff, a Tua, Trevor Lawrence. I'm sorry. I think he's a little bit better than Trevor Lawrence, although Trevor Lawrence's ceiling might be a little higher. I'm just looking at my list, guys. I'm sorry. Justin Fields, I think he's better than Brock Purdy, Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray just lost me. Kirk Cousins, Daniel Jones, Kenny Pickett. So, yeah, I'm putting him in my top 10. Not quite top 5. He needs some more work in order to get top 5, but top 10 for sure.
Yeah, I don't think that's, because a few weeks ago, some people were talking about Dak Prescott being a top 10 quarterback. So I feel like if Dak is on the fringe of that conversation, I think Jalen Hurts has to be on the fringe of that conversation too. It's going to look different just because he brings a different dynamic, but I don't think there's any denying what Jalen Hurts has done so far this year. Let's shift gears and talk about the Kelce brothers. We know we got Jason Kelce. We know we got Travis Kelce. two dynamic personalities, two great football players. I mean, obviously we know a little bit more about Travis, I think, just because of the position he plays, but Jason Kelce really anchors that Philadelphia Eagles offensive line. But if you had to pick, K-Walk, which guy is more important to their football team? Is it Travis, the tight end, or Jason, the center? Who's more important to their team?
Yeah, before I answer that question, I just got an update here. I think they might have been listening to us, the 49ers. Purdy and Lance are focused on their recovery. They're not focused on the quarterback competition. But it's scary that just came out. We just got finished talking about that.
They're listening.
They're listening. But I think you have to go with Travis Kelce here, Jay. To be honest with you, I just think that Mahomes relies a lot more. Nothing to take away from Kelce, the lineman, but I think Mahomes and Travis Kelce have a great chemistry. He relies on him more than any quarterback relies on a receiver, in my opinion. He's arguably the best tight end in the game. He runs routes so great. A lot of question about his blocking, but if you look at it, Tyreek Hill, once he left and went to Miami, a lot of the load was on Travis Kelce's shoulders to carry that receiving core, if you will. So I think it's a no-brainer here, but that's just me speaking. I think you have to say Travis Kelce is more important to the Chiefs than Kelce is to the Eagles because of the fact that the Eagles have a great offensive line. If they lose Kelce, it'll hurt them, but it won't like devastate them. Now, Travis Kelce, you lose Travis Kelce from the Chiefs, that's a totally different animal. Totally different look.
Yeah, and K-Walk, I think you're right, man. Losing the cheetah, like when he left, everybody, myself included, were like, I don't know. Chiefs are going to fall off this year. I think it's amazing what they've been able to do without him. And I think Travis Kelce is obviously a big part of that. I've never seen a quarterback, tight end / wide receiver, whatever you want to call it, just the chemistry that they have, because the routes are not traditional. They do so much improvising with their routes and yet are always right in tune with each other. So I think that's pretty special. But Jason Kelce, I mean, the center's kind of like the quarterback of the offensive line. They got to make all the calls. They got to get everybody set the protection, all those kinds of things. So I do think he's super important to what the Eagles do. But you're right, K-Walk. I feel like if you take Travis Kelce off the field, I don't know if the Chiefs survive without him, where I think the Eagles have a better chance of getting by without Jason. So I'm going to agree with you, K-Walk, and say Travis. But Britt, you're locked in on those Eagles more than we are. What say you?
This is actually not an easy one for me. Let me tell you, Jason Kelce is the emotional leader of the Philadelphia Eagles offense. Yes, by far, Jalen Hurts is the leader, and they follow Jalen. But Jason is the emotional leader of that Philadelphia offense. I feel like I'm disrespecting my own guy here. But I think it's more Jeff Stoutland, and they may even tell you this. I think it's more Jeff Stoutland, who is the offensive line coach, that really gets this offensive line in order and make sure they're good. Because when one goes down, another one pops in, and it's like we're still on that same playing field here, or that same, what I'm trying to say. Jason Kelce goes down, mind you. Jason Kelce helped select his backup in Cam Jurgens, which is kind of who reminds you, he looks like another Jason Kelce, basically. So I'm going to say that if it was Jeff Stoutland, that might hurt a lot more. But in this situation, I'm also going to agree with you guys and say Travis Kelce, because along with you guys, we thought it was Tyreek Hill. But when you really sit and think about it, it's really Travis Kelce. If he loses Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes lost Travis Kelce, we might look at the Chiefs offense a little bit different. I think he's more dependent on Travis Kelce than he was on Tyreek Hill. I think Travis Kelce opened the field for Tyreek Hill to do what he does best. So I'm going to go with Travis Kelce.
Yeah, I wonder if Tyreek regrets his decision at all. All that talk about Tua being the most accurate, which I'm not saying Tua doesn't throw a nice ball, but I'm just wondering if he sees his former team back in the Super Bowl without him, if he's like, man, that could have been me.
He must have
His
been
his bank account's not saying that.
True.
Jay.
That's true. That is true.
But that statement, Jay, he must have been hanging out with Antonio Brown down in Florida.
No, I mean, before Tua got hurt, I mean, with the concussion, he was dropping dimes. I'm not going to lie. And then when a lot of people were saying that, Tyreek may be onto something. I'm not saying that he's better than Mahomes. Right. He could be more accurate than Mahomes, but that doesn't make him better. But
yeah. I think the thing that's going to hurt too, I worry about Tua just from an injury standpoint. Yeah. I wonder if he's ever going to be able to just stay healthy. So that's going to be the thing. Yeah, for real. All right, let's one more Super Bowl topic. Then I got to talk about my guy Kyrie because he's been playing some great ball. But I want to know if you think these guys will win another Super Bowl or if they will win a Super Bowl. So there's some guys that have already won one and some guys that haven't. I got like 8 names, so we got to run through this pretty quick. But just tell me if you think they'll win a Super Bowl, another one, or if they'll eventually someday get their first one. Let's start with the old faithful Tom Brady, Britt. Will Tom Brady ever win another Super Bowl?
No, because the teams he probably wants to go to don't want him, like San Francisco 49ers. They don't want him. He's old. He's up there. He's aging. Not the same player. We clearly seen that last year. And I'm probably sitting here saying this, and he's probably listening right now, like, watch me prove it otherwise. But right now, I'm going to say no.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think he's washed. K-Walk said he was skipping rocks. I agree. I'm going to say no. K-Walk, what say you?
Nah. No, I'm saying no. I'm good with that. No, I'm leaving it there. I know we're pressed for time. That's why I said
no, you're good. Aaron Rodgers, K-Walk. Will he win another one? He's got one. Will he win another one?
If he goes to San Fran, yes. If he stays in Green Bay, no.
Okay.
So no, I'm just saying. But so if he, I'm going to say, wow, that's a great question, man. Because I don't anticipate him being in Green Bay for the remainder of his career. And I mean, that could be like 2 years from now. It could be next year. So with that being said, if he's staying in Green Bay, I'm going to say no.
Yeah. I think I'm going to say no only because there's so many young guns that are just coming. Yeah. Like he had a window where he could have won a couple. Yeah. That window might have closed on him because there's some guys that are just like those quarterbacks in the AFC. Like, right, those guys are going to win a lot of Super Bowls, I think. So I'm going to say no. But Britt, what say you?
I'm kind of with K-Walk on this one. It depends on what he does. If he goes to San Fran, I'm going to say yes. If he stays with the I was going to say 49ers. I mean, if he stays with the Green Bay, if he stays with the Packers, then no. It's kind of a TBD, to be determined type of thing. But I'm going to say he's with the Niners now. Not the Niners, golly, the Packers now. So I'm going to say no. His ego gets in the way too much. No.
All right. What about a guy that doesn't have one yet? Lamar Jackson. We know his contract situation. We'll see where he ends up, if he gets signed, if he doesn't get signed. But when his career is over, Britt, will he have a Super Bowl in his trophy case?
Why do you keep giving me these TB determined type of guys? I don't know. For some reason, I feel like he's going to stay right there in Baltimore. So because of that, and I still don't feel like they're going to do him right as far as playmaker. So I'm going to say no.
I'm going to say no, too. I just don't think he's going to win one. I think for this kind of some of the same thing I said about Rodgers, there's just a bunch of guys that are coming, and I don't know that Lamar's going to get one. So I'm going to say no. Okay, Walk, what say you?
It's sad that you say that, Jay, because he's still on his rookie contract. He's in his 5th year, isn't he? That's so sad.
I know.
But with that being said, I'm going to make it unanimous. I'm going to say no as well. I just don't think – I think he's going to stay in Baltimore. And with that being said, and I just don't see them winning a Super Bowl in the foreseeable future. So I'll say no.
I'll say this. Right. I think he's going to get another MVP, just not a Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's definitely reasonable. Another young guy that feels old, Deshaun Watson, K-Walk. Will he win one before it's all said and done?
He signed that big contract in Cleveland, so he's going to be there for a minute and a day, and a minute. I I'm going to say no. I don't see that. I don't see that Cleveland organization getting it done anytime soon. So I'm going to say no if he's going to be there.
Britt?
I'm trying to think of the team. Who they got?
They got a nice little decent squad. Nick
No,
Chubb,
they do.
offense
Oh, yeah,
isn't
that's right.
bad.
Nick Chubb, Amari Cooper's over there.
AFC is rough though.
Defense. They have a pretty good defense with Myles Garrett. I'm gonna say no, only because you just made a valid point. You're in the AFC. Maybe if you was in the NFC, I say a yes, but you got too many horses to fight through.
I agree. I think the competition is just it's going to make it tough for all of them, and I just don't know that Cleveland's going to get over the hump. What about Trevor Lawrence? Took a big step forward this year. Jags play good defense. He's young. He's up and coming. Will he get one, K-Walk?
Nah, I'm just looking at Jacksonville as a whole. I know he's good enough to win one, but with that organization, I know Doug Peterson is turning that thing around. I believe in Doug Peterson. I just don't believe in the organization. And I have a soft spot for the Jags. They'll make it interesting. For the foreseeable future, they'll make it interesting. They may get an AFC championship, but that's at best. That's as far as I can see them going. But so with that being said, excuse me, no.
I think I might go yes here, and maybe not even necessarily with Jacksonville. I think obviously he's got a long career. He's a guy that's going to play at least another 10 or 12 years. Mm-hmm. His game will age pretty well. So maybe he ends up going somewhere else at some point in his career. So I'm gonna say yes, just because I think from a talent standpoint, he's certainly good enough to get it done. I'm gonna say yes. Britt would say you.
I'm gonna say yes. Yes, he does have a long career, but I like what Dougie P is doing with this Jacksonville team. Hopefully he's there long enough, but if they keep him there, mind you, they got Calvin Ridley coming in next year. Yeah. He got a whole year off, and he was a very talented, extremely talented receiver, plus Christian Kirk, plus ETN. Shore up a couple of things on that defensive side, which I'm pretty sure they'll do this offseason. Make sure that offensive line is good. Dougie P is going to help Trevor Lawrence. I'm going to say yes.
Yeah, I kind of have a feeling about him. But again, that AFC is so tough, you just never know. Three more.
I could be a little biased, guys. I like Dougie P.
Three more. How about our boy Tua? We just talked about him a little bit. We know injuries are a concern, but the Dolphins, they did look good until he got hurt, K-Walk. Will Tua get one before it's all said and done?
No, because of the reason you just mentioned, because he got hurt, and I think that's going to plague him, in the rest of his career. And knock on wood for sure. I don't want to see that, because those are some serious injuries that he's been dealing with. No, I mean, you guys keep bringing up the AFC, and I'm looking at the Tua and that offense. I mean, if he can stay healthy, he'll make a deep run. But that's as far as he's going to get. I don't think he's going to win a Super Bowl. So if he stays in Miami, no.
Yeah, I'm going to say no. I just think injuries, and I hope I'm wrong about this, but I just feel like injuries are going to be something that follows him throughout his career, may even shorten his career if I'm being really honest. So I'm going to say no. Britt, what do you think about Tua?
I don't know. They're in the running with Vic Fangio as well for defensive coordinator. I'm going to say no. I just don't think – look, you have great receivers on the outside in Waddle and Tyreek Hill. They're all young outside of Tyreek Hill. I don't know how long Jalen Waddle is going to be there. That's going to be interesting. But they still have a lot of things to shore. Like that offensive line, which is one of the reasons why Tua took so many hits this year. They need to do a lot of things on that defensive side of the ball as well. If he stays with the Dolphins, no. I'm going to say no. And again, those concussions are no joke. And he got 3 this year. They say 2, but I'm going to say 3 because he got hit twice. So, and he gets another one next year. You may talk about, hey, my career, I might have to end this thing.
Yeah. All right, 2 more. This might be the easiest one. Patrick Mahomes. He's been to 2. He's got 1 under his belt already. K-Walk, does he get another one before it's all said and done?
Yeah, I think he gets one the next Sunday. I think he gets one next Sunday. But yeah, no, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. No, I'm not. But no, yeah, definitely gets another one.
Yeah, I think this is the one that if I was putting money on, he's definitely going to get another one, another few. I think so. I'll say yes to that. Britt, what say you about Mahomes? Does he get a couple more?
Yeah, I think so. Yes, not next Sunday, but yeah, definitely he'll be there again.
All right, so then, Britt, I know the answer for you for this one. Jalen Hurts, he's our last guy here. Does he get one before it's all said and done?
Yes. I mean, look at his progression. Look at his team right now. I think this is the year they need to do it. Hopefully they can finish it up. It's not going to be an easy team. Easy when you're going up against Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. It's going to be very, very difficult. But everybody's been doubting them all year long, so I don't see why not they can't finish it.
Okay, Walk, what about you? Does Hurts get one? I mean, he's young. Is he in it? It's his third year or third year, right?
Third year, second year is a full-time starter.
So he's got plenty of time left. Does he get one, K-Walk, before it's all said and done?
Go ahead, K-Walk. Say no so I can show him this film.
Does he get one after the Super Bowl? After Super Bowl 57? No, I'm going to say no. I don't think he gets one. Okay. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I feel like obviously he's got a great chance in front of him when the Super Bowl rolls around. Right. But I feel like, like we talked about,
in my mind.
like we talked about some teams in the AFC, the NFC, obviously the 49ers are going to be back. The Cowboys are going to be good again. There's some teams on the rise. So obviously this is a great chance to get one. Do I think he'll get one before it's all said and done, even if it's not this one? I think the Eagles have a really good team. So if you've got a really good team, I think you have a good chance to get back, even if he doesn't win it this year. So I think Hurts is good enough to win one. I'm going to say yes, although I'm not going to make a prediction about whether it's going to be this one coming up. So, but I'm going to say, yeah, I think he gets one at some point.
That's all right, Jay. I already got Bill. What they call it? They call it when you ramp up your team. Because K-Walk done said enough, so we good.
I didn't say anything. I said after this year.
We already got some. We already got.
What did I say? Did I say that? Because Eagle fans have selective hearing. I said after this year. After Super Bowl 57, I said no. I didn't.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. Okay. You did say that.
Okay, I did say that. See, that's what I'm saying. You never hear what I say.
I thought you said
no. You heard no and you heard zero.
Yeah, I did. You're right. My apologies. Wow. Dang, K-Walk, don't rip me to pieces.
I'm just saying that's what you.
I said I'm sorry. I ain't gonna say it again. God dang
it. All right, y'all. Let's let me shift this conversation before it gets too hot in
Eagles
here.
Fans and 49er fans are more alike than we think.
I'm not getting into it. I didn't get into you early. I'm definitely not getting into you now. I'm definitely not.
Let's talk about my Brooklyn Nets, guys. Obviously, KD's out. I think the Nets have won 4 games in his absence and lost 6. So they're trying to hold it together. But there's no denying that Kyrie's been great. I mean, this guy's the leader. He's leading the league in scoring in the fourth quarter, which is huge because he's closing out some games, scoring a ton of points. But obviously, he's on his last year of his contract. Some controversy earlier in the year that was well documented. Britne Monique, should the Nets give Kyrie a full contract? Should they extend him? What do you think they should do with Kyrie?
Jay, I thought I was in trouble for a second. Like, you just say my name. Should they extend him?
Yeah, I mean, give him a 4 or 5 year deal. What do you think?
You know what? I'm gonna say yes. We know Kyrie's going to be Kyrie regardless, but he's been doing pretty well. He's been staying focused. He hasn't been too much on the outside. I know he said a couple of things about the WNBA, but that's rightly so. That's the right. They should have charter flights. What the heck is wrong with them? I'm going to say yes. I think he's incredible. Did we not see these last couple of games? If they're winning because of him. because I honestly think that you have to keep one of the two of the three superstars on the team. And I don't think Ben Simmons is going to be here. I feel like he's kind of starting to get on the outs with the head coach. I know they asked him a question. He got frustrated just from the question alone. Again, he's not playing for whatever reason. I have no idea. I really think they're going to look to trade Ben Simmons. So I think they need to give Kyrie an extension because KD's not going to want to stay here if Kyrie is not here. So yes, I want to say yes.
Yeah, and you're right. And I know this isn't a Ben Simmons question, but Britt, you're right. Like when I saw him get like somebody barely like hit his nose the other day and he had to go back to the locker room for that, I was like, all right, this guy's done. Like I tried to get on that Ben Simmons train, but when I saw that, I was like, he doesn't want to play. But to your point, Britt, I think Kyrie's been great. The stuff we're hearing in the locker room is that the people in the locker room, they like Kyrie. They're getting along well. And KD likes playing with him. So if KD likes playing with him, that's good enough for me. I think you got to give this guy a deal. There's always going to be some uncertainty around Kyrie, but I feel like if you don't give him a deal, he's going to go somewhere else. And I don't think it makes your team better to lose Kyrie. But K-Walk, what say you?
Yeah, I think you have to give him an extension. I just think he's what your organization needs. I mean, like Britt alluded to, so she stated, like, you know, in order to have KD there, you know, you have to have Kyrie there. In order to do that, you have to extend them. Bench Simmons, you know, I just don't see him being there too much longer. To be perfectly honest with you, I said bench. Yeah, you can't spell bench without Ben. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, and I love what he did the other night. Was it last night? They played the Lakers.
Yep.
Was it last night? Yeah, last night. Okay.
Last night.
Yeah, and he saved the day for those guys, at least for the superstars, because there were a lot of superstars in that building. Michael B. Jordan, Selena Gomez was there. I mean, the list goes on and on.
Yeah.
I know the stars were out to see LeBron and AD, but you know they did what they do at load management. But that's a story for another day. But he did what a superstar is supposed to do. You know, he put on a show. He led that team because they were down a little bit. The Lakers came back. You know, we saw that. I mean, not the Lakers came back, and he ultimately did what he did to lead that team. So yeah, definitely give that man an extension. I just don't see you finding another ball player like that anywhere else in the league.
Yeah,
what I will say,
go ahead.
His leadership on the court
has changed tremendously. Yeah.
Has changed like crazy. He's motivating his guys. He's telling his guys where to be. And ever since that Sixers game, they took Ben off the court. I swear the Nets been playing better ever since. So that's showing you they don't even need Ben Simmons. They've been playing better without him, which is not a good sign at all for Ben Simmons. And that's why I feel like he might get traded at the trade deadline. He probably won't, but I would not be surprised if Ben Simmons is traded.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, the Nets have a bunch of really good role players. Like we knew they had some guys that could come off but they're role players. Like I bet they could be starters on some other teams. So I definitely think that helps them as well. All right, real quick, guys, before we get into our rant here, the Pro Bowl's got a new format this year. They're going to play flag football. We've been talking about it for years that the Pro Bowl wasn't really football, guys just out there running around, not tackling each other. It didn't even look like football. Finally, they're going to change it to flag football. Okay, Walk, do you like the change? What do you expect from the Pro Bowl?
I love it, man, because it seems like they were playing flag football anyway without the flag. It seemed like they were playing, two-hand touch football, intramural football we used to play in gym class. You know, you get the ball, then you're automatically down because you don't want to no one wants to get hurt. Yeah. So as soon as you catch the ball, it's like, freeze tag. So wherever you catch the ball that's where you are. And I think it's going to be more competitive. Guys are going to have fun with it. You're going to see a lot more energy, a lot more entertaining. And we like you stated, Jay, we've been talking about this for years. Like, listen, just turn this thing into a glorified flag football because nobody wanted to play. Yeah. Everybody just wanted to go down there. And I'm going to go, it used to be in Honolulu, but now it's down in Florida. But, everybody just wanted that time off, enjoy that time off in the nice weather and just hang out and play football. If it's flag football, then you're going to see some guys it's going to be more competitive. Trust me on that. So, yeah, I do like it a lot.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think it's going to be more entertaining, and the guys are actually going to play because it's just something about flag football. Like when you put those flags on, you're just going to play. So I think we're going to see the guys actually play without worrying about getting hurt or anything like that. So I love it. You wonder what the NFL was holding on to. Like, why did it take them so long to figure it out? But I think it's going to be a good change. But Britt, what are your thoughts?
My thought is they're still not going to be able to compete with the NBA All-Star Weekend, but granted, because it's football, you can't go full out. Somebody's going to get hurt. But I do like the change. I like it. I played flag football before. It's fun. It's exciting. It will be some incidental contact. Somebody's going to get knocked down by mistake. It's very competitive. Somebody's going to dive trying to get a flag. So you know what? I'm excited about it. I do wish they would go back to Hawaii. I think that was good when they were in Hawaii, but I guess Florida is a lot more people can commute to it. I don't know why they put it in Florida, but no, I'm excited. So, and hopefully the Pro Bowl weekend is exciting as well.
Yeah, for sure. Good stuff there, Britt. All right, guys, let's get into our rant. Every week we want to do a rant about whatever's on your heart, whatever's on your mind. You get 1 minute and 1 minute only to get it off your chest. K-Walk, I think I'm going to start with you because Britt always side-eyes me for starting with her every week. So I'm going to start with you, K-Walk. Let's see what you got this week. The floor is yours. Take it away.
Yeah, we kind of touched on it actually in the beginning of the show and a little bit at the latter part of the show, and that's the Lakers, man. The Lakers, they're superstars. LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and my man. I'm not even calling him a man, Patrick Beverley, man. Come on, what is up with the camera, man? Showing the ref the camera again, like I stated earlier. There are 1,000 cameras, 1,000 angles, and you bringing out a handheld camera, nice looking camera, by the way. Now keep in mind. It doesn't work that way, bro. LeBron, man, we know it, man. Come on, you can't ask for a ticky-tack foul like that, and then the next play come down, and then you throw up a play, no one touches you, and your foul gets called, and you throwing up the muscles and everything like that. Come on, are you soft or are you hard? Take your pick, man. Anthony Street Coach Davis, man. What they call him, Jay? Anthony Data Davis?
Data Davis.
You never know. Data Davis. I mean, come on, man. You guys are under position. And in the next game, both Anthony Davis and LeBron James are sitting down, man, where all the superstars come out to see you guys. Kids are upset because they come out to see you, and you guys are sitting and on the bench in your street clothes, man. So Lakers, stop complaining. Get it done. You're in a position to complain. You haven't won anything in a long time.
Good stuff, man. That's good stuff right there. I think I'm going to go next. I don't think you guys are going to agree with my rant, but I'm going to do it anyway. I want to talk about officiating because I feel like in the NBA and in the NFL, we've just seen some really bad officiating over the last week. And I know they're human. I know we're going to have human error. I get it. But we do have the technology in place to get some of these calls right. And when for me, it's just when you think about the amount of time, the amount of effort, the amount of detail that the players and the coaching staff put into these games, you hate to see plays happen where officiating plays a part in the outcome of the game. And I'm not saying that officiating over the past week has been the reason why any team has won or lost, but I do think it impacts the game. I know it's a hard job. I'm not asking them to bat 100% or bat 1,000 when they're out there, but some of these calls that they're making and then some of the calls that they're missing, it is impacting the game. So I would just like to see a little bit more consistent officiating across the board in both the NBA and the NFL, because for me over the last couple of weeks, it has not been very good at all. All right, Britt, the floor is yours. What you got for us?
Yeah, I don't disagree with your rant at all. I really don't. I don't know what I'm gonna do as my rant, guys. I came in, I was going to talk about the Niners disrespecting the city and hanging up their jersey on a Rocky statue, but I'm a little past that. I was talking about Jalen Hurts and his doubters. You know what? I'm going at my own team. How about that? Wait, I got to get my side right. This one, right here. This team. You know what? A couple games ago, I don't remember who the heck you was playing. The energy was so lackadaisical. It got on my nerves. Joel Embiid, come on, my guy. I understand you got 47 points against Denver. Brilliant game. Why can't you play like that every single game? No, before the Magic, I'm gonna get to the Magic in a second, Caleb. I'm gonna get to the Magic. I can't remember who the Nets. It was the Nets.
Yeah.
You had a lead. You became so emotional because you were going up against Ben Simmons. Don't let that man get to you. Like K-Walk said, bench Ben. There's a reason why he don't play. Play your game. Don't allow no other player or other team get you away from playing your game. And that's exactly what happened. That game should have been won by at least 20 points. Should have never gotten that close. Now we're going to skip over the Denver game and get to this Magic game. Really? You were up by 21 and then you go ahead and lose by about what? I think it was 6 or 7 points. That was disgraceful. And I'm tired of this lack of energy excuse. Do what you're supposed to do. You're a freaking professional. Get it together. That goes to Joel, Harden, Doc Rivers. Come on, y'all been in this league too long. You can't take no opponent for granted. No opponent.
Yeah, Britt, I'll tell you what, like, you're right about Joel. Like, that Denver game when he goes out and dominates because he wanted to prove a point. Like, he doesn't think the Joker's better than he is, right? So he goes out and just completely dominates. And the first thing I thought was, like, Joel could do that every night if he really wanted to. Like, he could do that every single night if he really wanted to, but he doesn't go out and give that kind of effort every single night. So I get it. He wanted to prove a point and he proved it, but he should be given that kind of effort every single night. So I agree that was very disappointing. All right, guys, let's do our balling segment. Then let's get out of here. Every week we want to highlight a player, a team, whatever you want to do. Just somebody that's been absolutely balling. K-Walk, who you got this week? Who's balling for you?
Yeah, I got my Miami Heat, man. Miami Heat defense. I want to talk strictly defense here, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, they've been playing some outstanding ball right now. I mean, they're second in the league right now in steals at 8.6 per game. 8.6 per game. Also, they're second in the league in giving up points at 108.4 a game. They've been using that defense. They propelled themselves to the 6th place right now. So they're only getting better right now. Shout out to Jimmy Butler as well. He's leading the league in steals at 2.1 per game. So the Miami Heat defense has been balling.
All right, good stuff there. I noticed they're creeping up. They were like 12th or 13th at one point in the East. They're definitely
every year
on the way up for sure.
They do the same thing every year. Tell me if I'm wrong, K-Walk.
They do. They
lag behind, but as soon as you come towards the middle to the end, here they come, and you're like, oh, where did this team come from again? Next thing you know, here comes this powerhouse again with no stars.
I think
we got a star. We don't have any superstars.
You got 2 stars. I'm gonna get 2 stars.
Well, yeah. I'm sure we'll revisit that in the playoffs.
Hey, man, trade deadline hasn't got here yet. Let's make sure. Let's see if we didn't make any moves.
Hey, SGA, go get SGA.
I'm gonna shout out my guy Kyrie. We talked about him earlier, but he's really keeping the fort together, holding the fort down for while KD is out. Like I said, leading the league and scoring in the 4th quarter at like 10 points in the 4th. Just been all around great. Leader, everything that the Nets need right now. So I'm going to shout out Kyrie. He's been absolutely balling. Britt, who you got?
Don't kill me, guys, but I have to do this, okay? So don't hurt me, especially K-Walk, all right? I got to shout out. I actually have 2, if that's okay. Eagles defensive end, Hassan Reddick. I have to shout him out. I mean,
he balled out.
2 sacks, 1 tackle for loss, 1 forced fumble, and 1 fumble recovery in the Eagles' victory. And then I also have to shout out Chiefs defensive tackle, Chris Jones. I meant to say Eagles pass rusher. He also Chiefs defensive tackle, Chris Jones. He also got 2 sacks, 3 tackles for loss in the Chiefs' victory. So they both were balling.
No, those are 2 great picks. Both those guys, they played great. All right, K-Walk, before we get out of here, man, let the people know where they can find you on social media, where they can follow you. And then and football season's coming to an end. It's kind of a sad time for all of us. But what you looking forward to this week, man? No live football games. So what do you got? What are you looking forward to?
Yeah, that's rough, Jay. I don't even like to hear that, man. But on Instagram, you can catch me, Kevin.Walker142. Twitter at KevinWalker142. And again, ladies and gentlemen, I have a show tomorrow night on Never Had It So Good Sports Radio. It's called Sports Talk with K Walk and E. Scott. Look it up. It's on Spotify. It's on iHeartRadio as well. Again, Never Had It So Good Sports Radio, Sports Talk with K Walk from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Very great show. Not that saying this isn't a little different, but some entertaining stuff there for you guys for sure. What I'm looking for, just dialing into basketball right now. I mean, that's all I have right now, especially college basketball. Starting to see some of these teams and what they're about, because March Madness is right around the corner. Before you know it, we'll be completing our brackets or filling out our brackets. So I'm starting to get a feel for college basketball for sure, and then definitely diving into some NBA.
Yeah, for sure, K-Walk. Basketball's kind of moving to the forefront for me as well. I've actually been watching a lot of women's college basketball.
Yeah.
For some reason, I enjoy watching the women's college game more than the men's college game. I'm sure once March Madness rolls around, that might change a little bit for me, but I've been watching a lot of UConn, Tennessee, South Carolina, LSU. There's some really good women's basketball teams. Iowa and Caitlin Clark have been really good this year. So just a lot of talented women playing basketball right now. But you guys can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Jason Talks Sports. And with football season ending, it's going to be full go on basketball for me for the next several months. But Britt, what about you? Talk to us.
I'm going to say this. I want people to leave one of my favorite singers alone, Anita Baker. I know it wasn't her best performance. It was not her best performance.
I missed that.
But what she has done in the history of music, leave her alone. All right, leave her alone. Did y'all see the national anthem?
I missed the national anthem. I saw it pop up on Twitter, and I didn't even click on it to listen to it. So
it was something wrong with her earpiece, so she couldn't hear herself. So just leave her alone. All right, she still got that.
Yeah, Anita's great.
Love and
I still listen to Anita in the car every once in a while.
Come on now,
yeah.
My angel, all that. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let me focus. I'm sorry, that was bothering me. No, this weekend, basketball, NBA, college. Now it's time for me to get into college basketball. Like you guys said, it's sad that football is dwindling down. I'm so happy I get a week off from the NFL because I just need an emotional break. Because I was fired the heck up for that championship game. You ask my dad. He was like, Britne, relax. They're going to win. Relax. I was like, Jalen, get it together. Fix your arm. Yeah, I was going crazy. So I need a break from that. Hopefully they win. Look, the 49ers, they got 5. They don't need another one right now. Cowboys got 5. They don't need another one right now. Let us get our second. Then y'all can get your next one. But where you guys can find me at is at Britne Monique on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram.
All right, good stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, we thank you for listening to The Sideline Speaks. We'll be back here next week at 7 p.m. live. Do us a favor, hit that like button, hit that share button. And if you're not subscribed, go ahead and do that for us as well. For Britne Jones and Kevin Walker, I'm Jason Collins. We'll see you next week.
You're inside Never Had It So Good Sports Radio with Princess Cooper, Tim Moore, David the Duck Riley, Jason Collins, Shoshana Cook, Britne Jones, Travis McGee, Eric Scott, and Kevin Walker. We make it easy to talk sports.